Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, it is the DOUG here, who's about to do his matchup against the Ravens, aka my mom's Baltimore Ravens. As many of you know, my mom used to live in Baltimore as a child. She actually remembers when the Colts used to be there. So that should show you how her NFL fandom experience. I will say this, I can say this, at least this game will be more. And I'm going to say this, how the fuck in 2020 do you miss a pass interference call? And I know everyone's going to say, oh, it was in a game that it really didn't mean much, you know, it's not like it was the NFC title game. I don't care. Week 16. We live in an era now where we can have technology at our fingertips. We can have food delivered. We can have every kind of food imaginable delivered to our house. We can have GPS tell us where we can be in 5 seconds. You have GPS on your damn phone, for crying out loud. Something that most people thought we would never have years ago. And when I mean years ago, I mean in the 90s. But yet, we still can't get a fucking NFL game called correctly. And I know everyone's like, well, you wouldn't want every flag called, would you? I'm like, yes. I know everyone's going to say, oh, this holding on every play, the games would take forever. Here's my thing. I'd rather win or lose a game with honor instead of knowing that if we won or lost, it's because the refs blew a fucking call like tonight. Now, yeah, if they would have called pass interference, guess what? Dallas would have been in field goal range to at least kick 3 points, and if they would have made it, it would have been 17-13 going into halftime. A little bit easier than it would have been to, you know, instead of it being 17-10, right? But yeah, I just feel like personally, and I'm actually honest, I stopped watching that game right after that no call. I'm like, yep, done. Moving on. And I even showed it to my mom, who's a Ravens fan, and even she said, how did that get missed? You know, and I know everyone's going to think I'm on my soapbox here and everything, but personally, I'm going to say this. If a ref misses a call that blatant, they should be fined. Because, I mean, you would fine an NFL player for dirty hits, or poking somebody in the eye, or doing something stupid, but yet you won't fine a fucking referee for missing a blown call. By the way, I have Vibrator and Dave with me right now. So sorry about that little rant, guys, but I'm sorry, I just get... How can I say this? I just get sick of bullshit missed calls. That's just who I am at this point. Of course, I think we looked last week of how the thing's going. So my thing, this is how the playoffs would be. I do kind of find it funny. Cleveland... The only things that match up so far in this right now is the Saints, the Seahawks, and the Bucks. Because Dallas in real life is... No, Buccaneers. Funny. Because...
I know, I had to be a start at.
Well, Vikings too, because Vikings are the 6th seed, which... you need... I know, Dave, we'll talk about it when we get to the picks. It's Doctor Gaming said that should have been Emma said the Ravens are dumb. Well, the refs have helped Baltimore most of the game tonight. Even my mom, who's watching it, said refs have been bailing Dallas, not Dallas. Refs have been bailing the Ravens out tonight.
So are the Cowboys out of the playoffs? Or they still...
Washington and Giants are playing. They would be eliminated, and Eagles will probably be eliminated next week when they play the Saints. So... Debauching a major collapse of Washington and the Giants? Yeah, I don't see that happening. Here's the thing, Dark Knight, with that missed call, because you can't challenge a pass interference call.
I thought you could. I thought they switched the... Oh, they switched it again?
Well, here's the thing. You could challenge it, but almost every coach knows it's not going to get reversed. And... even if he did, it was under the last 2 minutes of the second quarter, so that it has to come from the booth, and almost every NFL fan knows that the booth is not going to challenge it. They will not do that. They would purposely rather leave it as a mistake instead of admitting the refs fucked up. That's the one difference. That's one of the major differences between college and the pros. College, yeah, they'll look at flags to see if it's called right or not. NFL's like, nope.
Not today.
So, yeah, that's one reason why a lot of people miss something grievous, and that to me was one of the worst calls missed this year. And I'm sorry, again, we live in an era, it's 2020, we have all this technology, and yet we still can't get a call right on the field. Hell, we still can't tell what a catch is half the time in the NFL anymore. Or what is or isn't roughing the passer. Which is very unfortunate.
Tucker. Oh, sorry.
No, I'm just saying that's one of the things that I don't get. It's like, and the best example, how many times have we seen Brady get hit and they automatically throw the flag? But yet if it's like Cam Newton or Patrick Mahomes or Drew Brees, they don't throw that fucking flag at all.
Oh shit. Speaking of that, Drew Brees, like when my player hit him, broke his ribs and shit. That wasn't a rough passer. Come on. Rubber passer, you're gonna be like playing flag football. You know that, man? Everything like now.
Well, pretty much I'm expecting them to get going to that.
Taunting. Oh, shit. I'm playing wrestling, don't mind me. I'm doing Rumble.
So that's the one thing I can't stand anymore. It's like, we need better refs.
From M&T Bank Stadium in Baltimore, Maryland. It's week 13
And then, we're gonna talk more stuff tomorrow about football, man. I'm seeing rumors that we want to trade for Carson Wentz next season. We don't want him. We don't want him.
I've been hearing a lot of the rumors that Wentz will be traded, might be traded, depending how the rookie plays the next few weeks.
Well, I was reading about NFL.com, the Carson Wentz jerseys in Philadelphia are getting cut in half.
That's not a surprise, because everyone wants to blame him for how bad the Eagles are, but they're not looking at everything.
No, they need better O-line.
Well, the injuries are killing them. Them and Dallas have like most banged up injured O-line.
Nothing like the fanfare of introductions to an NFL game, and that was in evidence a moment ago. Fireworks, pyrotechnics, you name it. This crowd is ready as our guys get set to match up between the Dallas Cowboys and the Baltimore Ravens.
Of course, don't forget I do have this game set to the hardest difficulty. Looks like I'm taking on Matthew Stafford and the Ravens in this match.
They come in losers of 2 straight, so they're trying to right the ship here a little bit.
They're teetering a little bit, aren't they? And now things could really go south if they lose this game. So they understand the importance of playing well.
And I got Teddy Bridgewater. Yeah, my backup's Alex Smith. But I will say this, and this is what's funny to me. Even with the Niners loss on Monday, the only benefit for them is the Cardinals or the 7th seed the Vikings are, who are 6-6. But I'm going to be honest here, if you're the Niners, you're going to have to win out the rest of the way and get some help. I think one more loss by San Francisco, and depending on what happens with the Cardinals and Vikings, will decide your guys' fate. Well, Washington's that's a dangerous team right now. They've been playing very well. Their defense is ranked in the top 10. Alex Smith has been playing with a lot of heart, and I'm going to say this right now. If Alex Smith doesn't win Comeback Player of the Year, that reward is rigged.
It's still weird seeing us play at a rival stadium.
It still feels weird knowing he's actually able to play it since he almost died because of that leg injury. Even I was impressed that he beat the Steelers. And remember, I did call them beating the Steelers. I think, which, man, I got a lot of hate mail for that one last week when I had that pick.
I was reading that, and then you was talking about people were bitching because you didn't have a camera.
Yeah. I gotta say, I felt vindicated after that win by Washington. And those are the only 3 times you heard me say the words, me vindicated by Washington. Mm-hmm. All I gotta say is I hope Dallas wins this next game because it's against Cincinnati. We should win that. If we lose to Cincinnati, that pretty much just tells me we're taking to get that 3rd pick. Because we're not going to get the #1 pick because the Jets have that one in the bag. And Jacksonville pretty much has the 2nd one in the bag at this point.
Unless you guys if you guys pick the quarterback, then you know that they're getting rid of the 2nd round.
Yeah, I've heard the rumors on that one, and even I mentioned that last week as well. I have no idea.
Unless the Jets play stupid and pick like a wide receiver or something.
No, they pretty much have given up on Sam Darnold at this point.
They should draft that kicker, that girl kicker.
And AJ Green with the 1st down.
AJ Green, I don't hear him name much anymore.
That's because of what team he plays for. And Rudolph, with your nose so bright, won't you get a touchdown tonight? I can already guarantee you I'm probably not streaming on Christmas Day. There is no way in hell that's happening. Nah, I'll probably just be doing trophy hunting for the most part.
And this will not be returnable. It's out of the back of the end zone for a touchback. The Raven offense set at the line for this next drive. And Charles, if the season ended today, and it's not going to, we still have December left. We're only in November.
I did your poll on Twitter.
All right, I will look at it when.
I retweeted it for you too.
At least one home game in the playoffs, and that's what you're really seeking.
I'm kind of hoping Ghost wins only because of the fact that I won't have to compete that much with the big guys, but if Cyberpunk wins, that would be interesting to see if I can actually get viewers away from the big name YouTubers.
Yo, my headphones are stupid, you know why?
Because you bought them from Vince Russo?
I'm talking to you, my headphones dead, I can hear you through the TV. That's my headphones.
That's funny. And don't forget Vibrator's here with us as well. I'm sure he's like, fuck the Bears. It's Chicago.
Honestly, yeah, after the fact that they lost to the fucking Lions.
They should get just the field. The Lions, the Bears should get just the field.
Since that defense, and I've been saying it all year long with the Bears' defense, I love their defense. I think it's one of the most improved defenses. The problem is it's the fucking quarterback issue. And if you're enjoying this, please, if you would so like, leave a like and subscribe, because it just means you're enjoying this.
That's absolutely a great coffin corner punt. Someone's put some time in working on that. It seems like
these guys get better and better. It's amazing how they can command that football through the air.
Yeah, they used to actually practice with hula hoops where they place them and try and put them there. Now a lot of guys use barrels on the sidelines to try and put the football.
Come on, Lindsay, get the... Oh, wow. Oh, wow. I'm not going to punt it. I have not punted at all that much, so we're going to go for it on 4th and 2.
But how about them going back out there, recommitting themselves to the task at
Wow,
hand,
fun,
and forcing a 3 and
first
out,
time in
and
your
giving the
whole
ball back to the
Madden
offense.
career.
And he's going to get this one across the 30-yard line.
First down, Dallas. Remove the change.
First down. And he'll get this only up
They
to about
cheated
the
pass
35.
interference.
Second down.
Right?
Well, if the refs would have called it, it would have made sense, because I have it to where the refs call every penalty in the game.
How you do that?
You go to options, and there's a thing where you can adjust the penalties and everything, and I have it set to 100% called all the time.
Well, they're making an effort to get the ground game going tonight. So far, it's working.
I like what we're seeing from the offensive line. They seem to have the leverage going, and they're controlling things and reestablishing the line of scrimmage.
Come on, AJ Green. One-on-one, baby. You can get that. Oh, yeah.
One at the 10. And he takes it down.
And AJ Green tripped before getting in the end zone. Son of a bitch.
It's a big play.
Sounds like that play with Daniel Jones did that 1 week.
Yeah.
Randy.
This time is they're going to stop him right around the line of scrimmage.
Which is going to be funny if Colt McCoy can keep the winning ways up, because that means Mr. Jones could actually get into the playoffs. Because it's either him or Washington at this point.
A yard out. And the Cowboys will extend their lead.
There's not much that's perfect in football, but that's about as
Which I believe Washington and...
score, force a punt.
Oh, wow. I missed the one-point kick. Damn it.
The opening drive was that.
Um...
Last one was. Now on the other side, though, what's your psyche? You're really behind the 8 ball.
You got to make sure to just hold in there, survive the early storm.
What's I going to say? Yeah, I think Washington and Giants play each other in Week 17. I'm sure somebody might look that up for me. Me, the Dark Knight, or Vibrator, or Dave. But if I'm right, that means Washington and Giants will probably be the Sunday night game in Week 17, because that will probably be for the division. And we know that in Week 17, they usually try to make the Sunday night game either a game that involves a playoff spot or a division title.
Down, how big that is. In this situation, they've had to punt it away twice, so they're furiously going over things.
I know they haven't announced the Week 17 night game yet, but I'm just speculating.
And he'll be up into the 28-yard line. Just a 3-yard gain there.
Week 17.
Center by Clay Matthews.
Like hold on. The Washington Eagles play game right here. The one they got for 425 is the Broncos and Raiders.
Yeah, that's not going to be the Sunday night game for Week 17.
No, that's the 425 one.
Sports.
And official, Baltimore beat Dallas, so Dallas is probably done.
First and 10 up.
But at least I have my Fighting Irish doing well.
A shotgun
Oh
snap.
shit, Monday Night Football, the
By Witten, the tight end.
27th.
Mm-hmm.
Titans and Packers.
After a pickup of 8, second and 2.
Packers and Titans.
Well, that's going to decide seeding in both sides of the bracket.
That's 16.
Now the throw here complete on the right
See,
sideline.
we played Monday Night Football the 20th. We versus Cowboys
Four down
versus
territory, even if they don't get
Yeah, which I'm going to say this. If the Niners lose the next game, that Niners-Cowboys game ain't going to be for shit.
They'll try to get it on the ground with Madison.
and we lose to the Redskins.
First down as they get it.
Oh, there's a good chance you guys lose to Washington. Particularly because I don't think Jimmy Garoppolo is coming back for the rest of the season, right?
Finding its legs now. Here's another first.
Yeah, I think 49ers are just going to pack it in at this point. It's like you can still make it, but it's like you don't have all your pieces, and you'd probably be eliminated in the wild card game.
Just going to dump this one off to his
We
fullback.
hopefully get George Kittle back before
Get this one down to about the 20-yard line.
Yeah, but I'm going to say this, and I say this for every team who's out of the hunt at this point or has a hard time making it. I don't see the starting people coming back, because they're going to be like.
About this, they'll try the option. Left side. Oh, a hit
And Matthew Stafford fumbled the ball.
on the ground. It's picked up by the Cowboys.
Because most teams are going to be like, if they're out of the playoff race or there's too much work they have to do to get in, like, okay, I'll use the Cardinals here as an example. They have to win out and hope the Vikings lose the rest of the way. Which is easily done, but then, of course, let's use a team like San Francisco, Chicago, or Detroit. Those three teams have to win out, one of those things. I'll use the Niners here as an example. They have to win out, but then hope everybody in front of them, Cardinals and Vikings, lose the rest of the way. If they don't, Niners would be eliminated, pretty much. So you're going to start seeing teams who are either mathematically eliminated or teams who are not eliminated yet but will most likely will be, probably just saying any of the starters who are injured, we're not going to have you come back, just rest up, come back ready, stronger next year. I know you'll probably see a lot more of the second string and third string guys getting used more to see what they can do. So pretty much I'm going to say this. If you're the 8th, 9th, or 10th seed, you're probably going to still be playing because you have a chance. 11 and back, yeah, you're probably going to pack it in at this point.
Where you need the quarterback to morph into being a running back. The ball can't be away from his body. It can't be loose. It can't be held like he's going to throw it. Tuck it away. Take care of it because he's going to run through a lot of traffic.
And if he doesn't take care of it, we're going to see less design runs like that. And brought down,
I do know the Raiders are not happy because they needed Dallas to win tonight.
an excellent way to start the drive there.
Yeah.
And taking it across midfield and inside the 45. Another nice gain. That's now 30 yards between those last two plays. It's the number 2 receiver in the NFL in terms of yardage. And tell you what, a few more plays like that.
And AJ Green just ran everybody over and said, "Get out of my way." And Baltimore injury timeout for F. Clark.
First touchdown of the season.
Yeah, but they always say they're injured, right? But they still be getting up afterwards.
Yeah.
They missed one earlier, remember, but
Again, Madden 21 is a broken piece of shit.
the drive there only spanning 3 plays. And it's capped off for the Cowboys touchdown.
Yo, can I get some props or something real quick?
What?
The Word Games with Pat McAfee, he did an amazing job. He sold it next day on his broadcast. He sold it next day with an experts and everything.
Yeah, I saw that, so I'll give him props because he did sell it. He sold it better than most WWE wrestlers do.
Incredibly short kick fielded way up there. Oh, a good-looking return set up here.
The Ravens take over first and 10 at their own 39-yard
The Baltimore offense at the line, set to get going. And last time the turnover on the fumble, and they were in enemy territory, so that had to be very frustrating. Down on the scoreboard here, can't do it.
No, you don't, Matthew Stafford, and I've never seen Matthew Stafford run this much in my life.
Down on the scoreboard. Had a drive going.
Well, it's the
Pushed
game.
it past the 50-yard line. So they
I think since I think they're sticking, they're still using the Lamar Jackson playbook.
mildly. Now they can't afford to do that again.
Yeah, now can they get that bad taste out of their mouth here? 3 yards is half of what they needed. Now can they get the other 3 here on third down?
brings up 3rd and 3.
And right side, they're going to go option here.
And Stafford gets denied.
Here still a couple
Are you getting the Resident 8 game when it comes out for PS5?
Which one?
bring up 4th.
Resident 8.
Yeah, when I'm able to pre-order it, because it's not pre-orderable yet.
Yeah, I know they're on their own
It's
side.
probably not going to be available for...
They still make it for PS4 too, you know?
Capcom said if they do that, they would have to take a lot of stuff out.
Side judge here. He says it crossed out of bounds.
So I don't think that's going to happen.
So I still making games for PS4 still?
Making his presence
They are, but it's going to be like it was for the,
over the century.
with every other thing. Most of the stuff coming out on PS4 next year, there probably won't be too many big name titles. It's probably going to be a lot of...
Indies?
I wouldn't say indies, but not big budget games. So you're not going to see like the new Ratchet and Clank game on
Past the 35 before he's taken.
PS4.
A good pickup there, 21 yards. And now with that completion, he's north of 200 yards here in the first. He's got it. Hit the
And Hogan got the catch. Brother. Let me tell you something, brother. That was a great catch, brother. He used his creative control.
the gun. Bridgewater. He'll get 8 on the scramble there. It'll be second and a couple. Ball at the 6 here as they work with a 2nd and 2.
And Hogan gets the touchdown. I wanna be a Hulkamaniac.
Chris Hogan with another touchdown, number 24 on the year. And the Cowboys, they push out in front further.
Prater lining
On those slants. Everything happens so quickly. What makes it work?
The timing between the passer and the receiver. In this case, a slant route. Ordinarily, it's probably about 3 steps before you go on the slant. In this amount of time, I think it's a 2-step deal. Boom, put his foot in the ground and got inside for the pass.
Got inside for the pass, got inside for the catch and the score.
At least the good thing is, because I think and I did see the playoff NCAA playoff thing today. Hold on one second. Yeah, I'm not surprised nothing's changed, but like I said last week, and a lot of Mr. Jones knows where I'm going with this when he joins us. Here's this. Ohio State right now is still technically ranked the 14, but like I told everyone last week, I knew Michigan was going to cancel it. I knew that was coming. Now, apparently the Big Ten is having a meeting tomorrow to see if they can fix the, do a vote on the rule change. Instead of having it to be at to play 6 games, it just be 5. That way, Ohio State can play in the Big Ten championship, because if not, it will be Indiana versus Northwestern. But here's another thing that was added in November. Well, not November, October, I think it was. If 2 teams from the Big Ten can't play because their opponents canceled, those 2 teams would face each other, and this is the example that I'm going to give. We know Michigan's not, and Ohio State's not happening this weekend. But there's a chance that Indiana might not be able to play Purdue, because Purdue might have to cancel. So if that happens, Ohio State will take on Indiana again. That way, at least then Ohio State would have its 6th game. Indiana could, if the Indiana would win that one, Indiana will most likely jump ahead of them. But it would be interesting if they can't work something out. I'm going to say this: I don't think the NCAA committee is going to let Ohio State stay in the playoff with only 5 wins and only playing 5 games when you have noted. And I'm going to, when you have Florida, who's played 9 games, Texas A&M's played 8, I think. You have Indiana, who's played a lot of games. Cincinnati's undefeated and played a lot. Coastal Carolina, they're from a small conference, undefeated, playing a lot of games. You're going to have a lot of teams saying, hey, why is Ohio State up there when they've only played 5 games in a very short schedule? Yes, and I'll admit, Ohio State has passed the eye test. But I'm sorry, I can't put them in when they've only played 5 fucking games.
And this will get inside the 20 and be touchdown just outside of the 15-yard line.
Oh, wow, once Chris Hogan to get his 25th catch of this.
Drive by the Cowboys offense. Last time they were out here, they had the benefit of good field position, led to a touchdown. This time, they're going to have to work for it. They are, but with that,
and Lindsey is gone.
Touchdown, I think they carry that confidence into this one. Doesn't matter where you
into the end zone for a Cowboy.
Remember Ezekiel Elliott used to do that?
Philip Lindsay, 84 yards.
Yeah, he hasn't. And that's the one thing I tell people with running backs. Running backs nowadays, let's be honest here, you're all good for like, what, 4 or 5 years, and then after that, they're done. Because of all the... Well, I know they're the... Okay, they still play, but they're not as good as they when they were. That's what I mean. Usually after 4 or 5 years, almost every running back starts to downgrade to where they're not as good as they started.
Yeah, that's true.
Don't get me wrong, I'm happy AP and Franco are still playing. I love them as running backs, but AP has not been the same since he's played in Minnesota, and Frank Gore, well, he hasn't been good since he played in San Francisco.
Hasn't had his best day to this point here in the second quarter and they're losing, you got to think, though, that also means that maybe the defense doing a good job on it. There's two sides to that coin.
I would agree, so you have to give them credit, but that means you've got to find a way to beat that defense and make sure one of your top playmakers touches the football and has an impact on the game. Change formations, change where he lines up, put him in motion.
Man, Matthew Stafford's killing me in the passing game. You know, I think this is the first time I'm not gonna have over 40 points. And Dave says, "Hey," in the chat. Hey, Dave. Dave's not here, man.
First down, Stafford here. Firing quickly here, and that's complete.
Come on,
He'll be corralled out across midfield down to the 45. Consecutive catches for him. That good for 11. And he can't quite bring it in. Might have heard footsteps there across the middle.
Down you go. Yeah, it's sadly that's happening, I think, to everyone at this point, because I've watched so many streams to where there's some kind of lag or buffering or audio's back behind a bit. Blame the Umbrella Corporation and the T-Virus.
But it's looking like another empty possession.
And those empty
Speaking of that,
possessions, they're certainly starting to pile up. So
Darren just posts about the movie, real movie, they actually make it look like actual movie.
they've got to analyze
Yeah.
breaking down and figure
I'm still a little bit hesitant on it just because of the fact of, you know, everyone's excited because, oh, it's going to follow the video game.
Here, Teddy Bridgewater coming back.
I'm calling bullshit.
At the start so far, Charles, 3 first-half touchdown passes.
and that's how you generate excitement on a team.
I think Netflix making
Keep
it
your
too, I
offense
believe.
moving at a
They're
really
making
high
their
level.
own, like,
It's a
Got his man.
I know Netflix making the show.
And he will finally be taken down, but not before he reaches the 38.
This timeout is brought to you by Giant Vibrator Batteries Corporation. When you want a battery, get it from Giant Vibrator because they're huge.
So how about that for a chain mover? They're all the way down inside the 40 now for 1st and 10.
Can't do wide open.
Now this one over the middle into the hands of his tight end complete. And they'll wind up getting this one all the
It's
way
good.
down
That was a good
inside the
catch.
A little over 20 yards there, and he'll take it.
Touchdown, Dallas.
For a Cowboy touchdown. Bryson Hopkins with a lucky number
Hopkins thinks he's a seal.
and the Cowboys continue to pour it on.
If you didn't know it, it won't surprise you to find out that this team leads the league in scoring. They've been a quick strike team all season long. There's another example.
Wow, did that miss?
Offensive coordinator. Right now,
Or did that make it? Holy crap.
it's being a head coach. He's advanced in the ways of offense.
Wow.
After the touchdown, here's Prater to kick.
There's the clunk.
And this will not be returnable.
And this is the thing I told people with Madden. Even on all hardest difficulty, the AI is still very predictable.
Backfield as he gears up to go again. He's just been looking for some space. I'm not going to pin it on him or the offensive line, but they need to get this run game going better.
Sometimes you just have to credit the defense. They came in with a plan themselves. So I think now you try to mix things up a little bit. Give them
There goes my tooth acting up, so I'm going to be drinking some Captain Morgan sliced apple in a minute.
that he's still a threat.
I was going to say, don't forget about it.
No, don't take him totally out of the game.
Looking middle, and it's incomplete. Randall
You know what's sad in my fantasy
but now it'll be third down.
league that the Jets have more wins in the game than they do in real life.
These guys have punted 4 times already, and they're staring at a 5th, barring a conversion here on 3rd down.
When we're talking about Madden here. Remember when I tag you when the Browns win in first place?
Out of the
Back
gun,
then,
Stafford.
2010?
And that is
Yeah, but surprisingly in this though, and by the way, I'm going to say this. I know everyone's going to say the Steelers head coach should be the coach of the year, but my vote's going to go to Cleveland because that's the first winning season they've had since 2007.
They're definitely going to put their heads together and start concocting some offense that'll move the ball downfield.
on is the punter Scott here.
And if they make the playoffs, that's going to be the first time they make the playoffs since God knows when.
And he couldn't get it to
Yo,
check
now
out.
you
That kicks
need
all
to
the way
get
into the
it
end
goes
zone
down to
for a
Buffalo.
touchback.
The Browns
Getting set to go here, Teddy Bridgewater and
That
company
would be
marches
funny.
back onto the field.
Well, I actually think Buffalo has a chance to make the Super Bowl because they have a great defense.
Both have been good. Pretty
Josh Allen's playing well.
Never met a coach when we've talked to him before a game
And AJ Green is getting himself another. No, he's not.
Have this in a great spot way down in Baltimore territory. The Cowboys going to use their second timeout now.
AJ Green's like, son of a bitch.
With 18 seconds to go in the first half. The chance to really cap off a
All right, Walker, Texas Ranger, time for you to do your thing. Okay, not the plan I had, but good job, AJ Green.
AJ Green, as the first half is winding down, as his guys continue to put this one out of reach.
I'm okay with that. It's a touchdown, but not who I wanted it to.
Ball right there. He had the big play to get him down close, and then he delivers a touchdown pass on first and goal.
And you mentioned the big play that got him down close. I think that
I'm okay with that. I'll take that trick touchdown play.
And you know, they always talk about having to have a short memory on defense.
I'm sure Dave's like, why can't that happen to me in Madden?
Extra point good by Prater, and a rout is on here in this first half.
Well, you pass it to one person, but it tips off the defender's hands and it lands on the other.
It ricochets.
Yeah.
I got that. I did it before. I got when I seen it a couple days ago.
Ah. I don't usually get to see that happen too much. I was expecting that to be an incomplete, but I was like, okay, AJ Green, you wanted a touchdown again. Here you go.
These guys had to punt their last possession, and that's become too familiar of a refrain. Too many of these drives just wound up going nowhere.
But you know how in baseball, when the pitcher gets a base hit and he's on base, they bring his jacket out to him to keep him warm.
I'm an asshole. Come on, Baltimore. Come on. I know you want to pass it.
He might need a massage from the trainer right now from all the work he's getting.
They'll keep it on the ground again here. And he gets this one just shy of the 40, down at the 39. And with just 4 seconds left in this first half, a timeout call.
No, they're going to go for a Hail Mary to try to get some points.
First and 10. The final shot before the break, Stafford.
Oh, wow, they actually caught that.
And he'll go down, but not before getting this inside the 30. So we've reached halftime here in what is quickly
What the fuck was the AI doing there?
as we send you down to Orlando where Jonathan
That made no sense.
Halftime report. Coach.
All right, guys, thanks very much. We'll get back with you shortly. But first, let's
You'll
take a
see
look
it, Dave, and you'll be like,
what's
what the
going
fuck?
on around the NFL. In the early window on Sunday, one of the best happens up in Pittsburgh. A big one for the Steelers. As that promises
Now watch the AI on the if you're behind.
lots to look forward to in the late games as well. One
Jared,
of the best
who's the
being up in
fullback for the
Seattle,
Ravens?
where we find the Seahawks
I don't know, but
taking on the New York
I want to know
Giants.
what dummy was going, what that player was doing. Go boop 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 boop.
Monday Night Football to wrap up the week between the
I think my
Buffalo
friend
Bills
was like the
and the San
fullback for the
Francisco
Ravens.
49ers. In our game, it's Teddy Bridgewater with a standout first half. His 5 touchdown passes have him on a record pace. As for the call of the second half, we'll turn it back
And then
over to
Carson Wentz
Brandon
got
and
benched
Charles.
for the Jalen Hurts.
Oh, I know.
So this is remember about that. Aaron Rodgers talking about lost his job, huh? Does it hurt?
I don't think he's lost his job. I think he's lost it for the season. But it's like I said. I think that they wanted to see what they have with Hurts.
All right, Coach.
Because you can't, because you're still going to be stuck with Carson Wentz for the next 2 seasons.
Yeah, but he's the one that signed this stupid contract for 4 years, so it's their fault.
Yeah, the fault give him all that money.
Just outside the goal line. And makes it across the 20 as his guys will set up shop at the 23-yard line.
Oh, the Scooter Magruder guy, the Cowboys guy.
Come the
He don't
Cowboys
talk
now
about
as
it.
he'll go on offense.
Guy on my Facebook, he's Dallas Cowboys fan. He makes money post
Touchdown. I think there may be some empty seats around here by the time the fourth quarter comes around.
Yeah, I have to agree with you.
Yeah, we really can't do any laughing right now. So
Benefits from all those empty seats. You and me trying to get to the airport.
this is. I'm just gonna chalk this up to this is one of our bad years. Every team goes through a bad year when they.
Pick up about 3. Second down.
What hurt us the most is going to be honest, the injuries.
Give credit to the defense for
Injuries started up for us way too early, and we were never able to bounce back.
you know you're trying to dart through. No place for him to go. A nice
And then when Dak went down, yeah, that was pretty much.
And he was able to
And
shoot
then you had
one
the
tackle,
other
but could
guy,
not
the
get
other
away from
quarterback,
there.
overhead,
Just a
the
yard on
guy.
the first down carry, so it's second and 9.
That dude sucks.
It's
Well,
a
he,
4-yard
I
pickup
think he
there
does
to
better
Wilson
than
with 3rd and 5.
Dalton.
And quickly they get to the
Andy
line.
Dalton over there. He does better.
To throw, Bridgewater.
Oh, flag. Our first flag of the game.
You know,
And he's going to be taken down
you
with
know, y'all
the
need
first
to do.
down at
You
the
need to
Ravens
fire
30.
all the staff and start burning. You know.
See, I'm gonna say this in the defense of the
Well, we looked at each
the
other
coaching
before we
staff.
knew that flag was coming out.
I think because of all the injuries that happened, I don't think you can blame it. You can't so many injuries. It's not like with the Texans; they didn't have any injuries. It's not like it was with Atlanta. Atlanta was the coach that couldn't game plan. I think the injuries, and I'm going to even say this: Bill Belichick's not even having a good year this year.
Time for a roughing penalty, and they get the gift of a 1st and 10.
Yeah, but they still on the hunt.
They're still in the hunt, but
Touchdown, Cowboys.
let's be honest here. They lost a lot of games they probably would have won if Cam Newton wasn't missing. Remember, Cam Newton was gone for I think 2 or 3 weeks. I know that was for the C virus, but still, when you're missing players due to injuries or sickness, it kind of makes it hard to. And if you need any example, look at the Ravens-Steelers game from last week. Good Lord.
Yeah.
Now Prater to add the PAT. And the lead grows even larger here in the 3rd quarter. A drive that time of 6 plays. And it culminates in a Dallas touchdown.
Well, I get what you're saying. I'm just saying, you know.
Is that, I'm trying to pronounce that name. OMK?
Oh,
I think I know who that might be.
After the touchdown,
wait,
out
on your,
is
on
Prater
your
to
stream?
kick.
Yeah, I think I know who that might be. We just know I have a hard time pronouncing YouTube names.
This will be a touchback as that sails over the end line.
25-yard line.
The Raven offense set at the line for this next drive. They've got to dig down deep. They need something right now. Really anything to
Oh
close.
shit, Mr. Jones.
He lost the football. Stafford puts it on the ground.
Pause that real quick. I think we heard. Yep, Mr. Jones is here, everybody. Remember to get that royal goodness at TCW.
Hey, what's going on, video game
Quarterbacks
heads?
have to be aware of protecting the football as well. He left it exposed that time.
Yeah, did you hear about LeBron James said the Space Jam is not a sequel?
Oh, I'm not gonna watch that shit. Fuck LeBron James.
Fuck Ron Braun. Hashtag fuck Ron Braun.
No, hashtag fuck Los Angeles.
To pick up a 1st down. How about that call on 2nd down? The big man puts them in position.
Fuck California, period.
Well, that too.
Time for the sack. Steve McCoy.
Well, remember, the Niners are not a California team anymore. They're Arizona for the next game.
They're already down big.
The whole season. Yep.
Pretty much.
They just can't get out of their own
Maybe
way
next
right
year
now.
too.
It's created an
Oh, that would be
avalanche.
hilarious.
It's coming right on top of them.
That's like the
Averaging just under
Thunderdome.
50 yards a punt as he
They
gets
stopped
this
doing it.
away.
Now they're in the
Twisting away.
Tampa Bay Rays Stadium.
I did hear that.
All told, a 54-yard punt.
Well, I hope you're having a good night, everyone watching this, or who's joining us right now live.
1st and 10. And now Dallas gets set to take the field. They've really distanced themselves. They have put the pedal to the metal, I guess, so
Damn,
to speak.
55-0.
Definitely have them in the rearview mirror.
And there goes Lindsay. Out of bounds.
String together these drives that end up in points.
So yeah, I was watching that
Basketball to create
Cowboys
distance,
game.
and they're on a really
I'm actually proud of the
It
Cowboys
becomes
for what they
contagious,
did.
doesn't it?
I actually stopped watching. I actually stopped watching after that after that pass interference wasn't called. I was like, nope, I'm done.
They are clicking right now. It's
They
a
got paid to
7-yard
lose.
carry to set them up with a 2nd and 3. Here's a give.
That's gonna bother me for like a few. That's gonna bother me for a few weeks. It's like, how do you miss a pass interference call when the ref is standing right in front of the fucking thing?
Nah, they're blind.
He's got a 1st down.
Even Ray Charles would have been like, that's a defensive pass interference, and I'm blind as a bat, bitch.
You mean Stevie Wonder.
Stevie, okay, Stevie, you know you know what I was saying.
You know
Well,
what?
they're both blind.
Stevie Wonder's not blind.
He did.
Yeah, he is.
No, he's not blind. I got. Oh no, I'm not saying it as a joke. I'm saying it's for real. I got proof.
Do not think dirty thoughts, though. Do not think dirty thoughts.
Wait a minute, you think of dirty thoughts when
No. I'm thinking the proof you have. The proof you have is dirty.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
That you were able to see his eyes move when he saw a woman with big old titties and a nice watermelon ass that he can flip a quarter off of.
And also, he got caught on live TV showing proof that he's not blind.
You big dummy, as the Red Fox would say.
And I'm not trying to shit on him. Career or anything. Just, you see, back in the day, around Motown, you had to have some type of gimmick in order to get over. Just like wrestling, you had to have a gimmick. Some had to have a gimmick.
Whenever you see a team deciding to throw the ball on 3rd and 1, as a defensive player,
Ray Charles was blind. Ray Charles was actually blind. Fat Domino, obviously.
I mean, not a lot for sure, but sometimes
and Stevie Wonder as a kid growing up.
I want to say something stupid. When you said Fat Domino, now I want to go to Domino's.
Shedding the tackle. And they're going to get this beyond the 40 before he's taken down.
Hey, I like pizza. Fuck off.
I like pizza too. I don't know what it is about Domino's. I cannot get behind.
I'm honest, the only
Caesars I can't get behind.
No, I love Little Caesars. That thing got me through college.
I'm pretty sure. Look, I'll be honest with you. As a fat kid, yeah, Little Caesars got me through some tough times, but as an adult, stuff did change. I don't know if it's their cheese or it's their sauce. But as of right now, I can't get behind it.
They're going with Lindsay.
That's a really nice job by them picking up the run blitz and detecting it and blocking it and turning it into a nice run.
Like Papa John's is getting by so far. Pizza Hut and Papa John's. And I'm not saying that because of Shaq.
Pizza Hut can go suck a dick.
Oh damn.
I'm sorry. I'm
like
gonna.
That, huh?
I'll say it like this: the last time I had Pizza Hut, it was so greasy. The best way I can say how greasy it was, if you ever seen Coming to America and they made that hair gel commercial with your hair is so greasy it leaves a stain on the fucking. That's how greasy it was for Pizza Hut. That I could have literally used it in my hair. Hey, children, it's Fat Domino.
Yeah, I don't know. It goes for me. It goes Donato's, Papa John's, Pizza Hut, Little Caesars, and Domino's.
Let's see. Excluding the mom and pop one down the road for me, because I'm not going to count that because it's just a local mom and pop shop. I'd have to say the name brand. I'd probably have Domino's at 1, Little Caesars at 2, 7-Eleven Pizza at 3, Papa John's at 4, Red Baron from Kroger at 5. And then Pizza Hut.
And oh yeah, mom and pop pizzas are probably like the absolute best because they make it with tender love and care. They're so true. Green and Pops, like, those are the best. Some of them are the best ones. Now, I never been to Chicago. It's kind of hard to fight whether Chicago or New York has the best ones.
As somebody who's been able to have both just because of video game conventions, I would go with New York just because I'm not a big fan of the Chicago style pizza. I'm sure somebody from Chicago's going to go blasphemy.
Chicago or New York has the best ones.
As somebody who's been able to have both just because of video game conventions, I would go with New York just because I'm not a big fan of the Chicago style pizza. I'm sure somebody from Chicago's going to go blasphemy, and I'm going to be like, yeah, kiss my fat white ass. Besides, if CM Punk likes it, it's got to be bad. Couldn't resist, so I had to make fun of CM Punk once in a while.
I did not see the TNA, so
I have not watched it either. I'm going to watch it probably when I get back tomorrow. Well, I'm sure it's going to be shown on AEW as well.
They gave a clue. They gave a clue. They gave a clue though.
But to keep firing, and if you're a play caller, you may go off your sheet and use some things maybe you hadn't planned to in this game. Maybe that was one of them there that worked.
And it's going to be...
Rob Van Dam.
I thought he was still in TNA.
Oh, wait a minute. Did he just did he say somebody from TNA is going to jump to AEW?
Well, he was on his night. Lex Luger jumped from WWF to WCW.
I know who's going to jump. It's going to be Moose.
I think
No! Fuck you, Baltimore.
Oh wow.
Fuck you, Baltimore.
Yeah, I can see that happening.
Well, I don't know. They might be invading the will.
And it's probably going to be an better invasion angle than we got in 2001.
Nah. But see, in my 20s, actually early, late teens, that angle was actually pretty damn good. The only problem,
it could have worked better.
yeah, it could have been better. Like, and I understand why it wasn't. There's a lot of people that say, "Oh, it could have been better if Sting and Goldberg was on in the invasion." Not necessarily. Goldberg, I think it was fine that Goldberg wasn't.
Goldberg was a no-talent hack.
Thank you. I think people wanted to see Goldberg in Austin, which it wouldn't have worked. Hogan was still in some type of like Hollywood / no one gave a shit about him because I mean, come on. I mean, it was perfect timing for Hogan versus Rock at that time. I will say if Rey Mysterio would have been on the card, I mean, in the invasion, it would have been interesting. I don't think, yeah, Eddie Guerrero was actually, yeah, Eddie Guerrero and Chris Benoit weren't around during the invasion.
They were both out injured, if I recall.
Yeah, like Triple H.
Right. And I don't think it would have been any better if you had Triple H Sting at that time. Now, would it have made a difference? Absolutely.
He's going to be stopped well short of what he needed as the tackle is made.
I just wouldn't. I wouldn't want to see DX in WO, and it was probably for its best. However, what they could have done what they could have done
It's not make DDP look
brought
like a
in
bitch.
Yeah, they made DDP look horrible, booked him horrible. They booked Booker T wrong, and they should have not. They shouldn't have Shane. They shouldn't have Shane or Stephanie McMahon anywhere near the. That's where they screwed up. That's where they screwed up. Like, you don't need every McMahon touching anything wrestling. This should have been Eric. This should have been Eric Bischoff and Paul Heyman at their best in that angle.
I was okay with Shane just because at least with Shane, you know, he was going to do some batshit crazy shit. So I was okay with Shane being, but yeah, I think it should have been Heyman instead of Stephanie.
I mean, I get it. Like, I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, there were some clips in there with Stephanie, you know, but yeah, I think what should have happened was Shane and Stephanie should not have been near. Neither have Linda. Should have been Paul Heyman versus Vince. I mean, William Regal be a traitor. That was horrible. That's being a traitor. That was horrible.
Yeah, Austin and Kurt Angle joining him didn't make sense either because, as we found out, he was going to join ECW until the night Sandman was crucified.
Right.
The big play to start him out has him at the 45 already. Operating from the gun, Stanford.
Okay, I just got the notification from ESPN. Dallas is not out of it yet of the playoff hunt. They can still win the division 7-9, but if they lose one more game, they're done. I'm like, yeah, and we play the Bengals next. Fuck.
Now I will say this: they have a shot.
I just hope we beat WKLP. I just want to beat them. Is that okay, Lord? Can you have my Cowboys beat WKLP Cincinnati, please? I'm willing to sacrifice my toes, you know, if I need to cut them off to do so. I'll let Angelica live on Little Hope.
Back to the air, Stafford on second down.
I'm trying to find Misty Island.
And he's going to have another first down here as the tackle's made at the Cowboys 21. 16 yards on that one at a Raven first.
Oh, okay, remember the fishing thing you did on Jack and Dexter, right?
Right.
You got to go to that guy's boat to which is back in that main hub area where the mail is and everything.
So I just need the boat.
Yep, you'll be able to access the boat now because you caught all those fish.
Oh yeah.
Wow, Bottom was actually trying to get double-digit points on my ass. What the fuck?
Alexander Madison, the ball carrier. The tackle made at the 3-yard line. A gain of 3.
So the ball position now at the 3. Here's second and goal.
Let's see what
Just 2
other
minutes remaining
thing
here in the
that
fourth
they
quarter of what has been a one-sided affair.
Better. They couldn't have Mark Jindrak on Evolution.
Yeah.
They've got it second and goal as they look for a late touchdown.
I think Eddie's world heavyweight title run could have been a lot better.
Yeah, I know Eddie said he didn't like being champion at the time for some reason.
Well, and I can understand that because, like, for one, his run was not as good. Now, if you had to tell me to compare Kofi Kingston and Eddie Guerrero's title run, they were just about the same.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I know I'm going to get some flack for it, but my thing is this: when Eddie won that title, he was going up against who? Okay, he won it off of Brock. He went up against Kurt Angle, I think it was, and then he went up against JBL, and that was it, right?
He lost it to JBL on that second defense, yeah.
And see, that was horrible. Like, they could have gave him anybody. Like, they could have gave him Randy Orton. They could have gave him Undertaker. Hell, they could have gave him Booker T.
I will say this, and I know I'm going to get some flack. I actually enjoyed JBL as WWE champion.
Oh, JBL's title run was good.
That's how you...
It was awesome. It was good.
Well, it's better than the other guy they tried that with a few years ago, Jinder Mahal, because at least with JBL it felt believable.
Okay, here's the thing, and people are going to be like, what? They did Jinder Mahal wrong. They did that man so wrong. They basically gave him a racist title run.
Oh yeah, well I think everybody knew that. JBL lost it to Cena, but won Jinder. Everybody knew that the only reason Jinder won it was because they were trying to get that fan base from India.
I was just going to say that. Now here's the thing. Who do you think had the worst title run? The Great Khali or Jinder Mahal?
I'm gonna. To me personally, I would say Jinder, because at least with the Great Khali's war title run, I felt like he was a threat to always keep it. With Jinder, I was like, yeah, he's no threat because of his size. And what hurt Jinder Mahal as well, I'm gonna say this, but they didn't really build him enough to be a credible threat. Because at least with JBL, you could say, okay, he had every title before that. Great Khali, you can say his size made him a threat. You know, with Jinder Mahal, what the fuck did he do before then? He was known as being the biggest jobber of 3MB.
Well, see, Drew McIntyre, when he came back, he had a legitimate, like, a good legitimate push. Like, okay, he went to TNA, he had a lot of indie scene stuff, and he gotten bigger. Like, he changed his whole entire demeanor, and he's gotten better. Now, Jinder Mahal, I will give him this. He did change his look. Man did put on some muscle. The problem was that when he came back, Vince McMahon treated him like he was still a Nick Carter 3MB / his name, Masa? What was his name? The guy that got in trouble with, at the wrong place, wrong time.
Muhammad Hassan. He was, you know what's sad about that? Not to go. He's a vice principal at my school up in Poland, New York. He's a vice principal.
What was his name?
Jinder Mahal. I'm not not Jinder Mahal. I just said that. Muhammad Hassan.
Yeah, Muhammad Hassan. Yep. And what's so crazy?
He's a vice principal
Well, I've said this with Muhammad Hassan. If that would have been on the USA Network, it would have nearly not got WWE and him as in trouble. But because it was on UPN and it was on a station that everybody had, local television.
I'm like this. He got screwed. I feel like they could have repackaged him like everybody else, and he would have been fine. I feel like if he would have stuck around in the wrestling business, he would have been able to bounce back.
I agree as well. Because here's the thing, he was on track because we've all heard the story after it happened many years. And he finally said what happened. Even WWE has kind of said this with shoot interviews with some of the guys. that the original plan was he was going to beat Taker at the Bash, and then he was going to beat Batista for the world title. But how things change.
Mm-hmm.
Congratulations, Teddy Bridgewater is now a franchise quarterback. I thought he was always a franchise quarterback.
That was like the rumor was remember how it was Shawn Michaels versus Craig on WrestleMania 20? No, who was trying to wrestle WrestleMania 22? The rumor was that it was supposed to be Eddie versus Shawn Michaels, but Eddie died, so the match wouldn't happen. That would have been a good ass match right there. Eddie versus Shawn Michaels.
Oh, that would have been, yeah.
That was the rumor, but he died.
It would have been dope. But you know what? Here's the thing. I'm a Shawn Michaels. I was a Shawn Michaels fan to a hardcore level.
Shawn Michaels got beat up in Syracuse. He was flirting with the guy's wife. He was messing with this guy Marine's wife, and he got beat up in a bar in Syracuse.
You found out that he's a sexy boy, but he's not a tough boy.
He was 95 and 90. Remember how he had to surrender his title because
he had to forfeit the IC title to Dean Douglas. Yeah.
That's the reason why he got beat up in Syracuse. So he messed with Marine's wife.
All right, so let's take a look at Week 13's players of the week. In the NFC, Teddy Bridgewater was the offensive player of the week, and defensively it was Jay Brown from Green Bay. In the AFC, it was Josh Allen for the Colts. I'm sure Mr. Jones is like, woohoo, my Colts did something.
Right.
And the AFC defensive player was WKRP Cincinnati DeCazine. Ironically enough, I play them next, but we'll do that match later on. Looking at the playoff picture now in Week 14, the number 1 seed is still my Cowboys in the NFC, followed by the Saints in 2, Seahawks 3rd, Vikings 4th, Buccaneers 5th, Giants 6th, and holy shit, the Atlanta Falcons in 7th. Oh my god.
Wow.
Atlanta is actually a better team than this. In the AFC, it's Chiefs the 1 seed, followed by Browns number 2, Dolphins 3, Jaguars 4, Bengals 5, Ravens 6, and the Chargers go in 7th. That's fucking hilarious. Which one's more shocking, the Chargers or Atlanta?
The Atlanta Falcons.
Yeah, so let's see. Let's take a look at the records, because that's the one thing it doesn't show. Of course, Dallas has clinched a playoff berth now. Here's the thing, though, looking at this. Bengals will most likely beat the Bengals. Ravens, depending what happens. Oh, Steelers are still alive in the hunt. So are the Bills and the Texans. Holy shit. And the Broncos, and the Titans, and the Patriots. And, oh wow, Raiders are now not the worst team now, and it's the NFC. It's probably the Eagles, isn't it? No, the Packers are the worst team in the NFL in my thing. What's funny is, though, yeah, Atlanta is in a tie with the Bears and the Rams. The Bears might actually make the playoffs in my universe. Honestly, no. Dave, what is the record for the Niners in real life? 5-7?
Yep.
Yeah, that's what they are in my game.
Yeah. Wow.
So that's interesting. But let's see who Cincinnati has before we head off to go to Little Hope and see if I keep anybody alive or not yet. Can I keep people alive? Probably not. Particularly if it's Angelico. Fuck that bitch. Okay, so looks like I'm taking on Russell Wilson, as that's the Bengals quarterback. Interesting. Ronald Jones II and LaShawn McCoy are the top 2 running backs. Oh dear. I'm in trouble. And the top receiving core is Julio Jones and Neil Harry and Terry Burden. Not to be confused with Barry Burden. But that does it for this, guys. I will, of course, will see you again in Madden for the picks tomorrow on Wednesday evening. And we'll probably stream something else. We may actually just do the Bengals game immediately. Who knows? But see you guys in a little bit for Little Hope. Little Hope. I have little hope Angelico will live. Bye-bye.